I'm Elliana and I'm a student at School of Humanity. I'm based in Bristol, which is in the UK. I feel very passionately about helping those in need, and if you do too, please stay to listen to this presentation. So in this exposition, I will be sharing my journey of discovering and creating a project I did for a school challenge. As I said before, I'm a student at School of Humanity, a learning community that encourages you to create things to solve world problems. Here are some of the things I'm going to be sharing with you. An iceberg model, the analysis, some key statistics I found while researching, my solution statement, which helped me design my project, the prototype, some of the things I learned during this process, and finally, a reflection. This is an iceberg model. Like Arthur said, it is really, really amazing. For those of you who didn't know what an iceberg model is, I'm going to explain it to you. It's a systems thinking tool designed to help an individual or a group discover the key underlying problems of a particular event. At the top of the iceberg are the patterns. In this case, it would be children getting abused. After that comes the supporting structures, parents abusing their children because they were. But why is this happening? This can be because they aren't getting enough help. Finally, we have the mental model. But why aren't they getting enough help? Abuse isn't identified and helped early enough. So while researching, I found some really shocking statistics that I thought I'd share with you. Between the ages of 11 and 17, 1 in 14 children have been physically abused in the UK. Every year, more than 4 million referrals are made to child protection agencies, involving more than 4.3 million children. The United States have one of the worst records among industrialized nations, losing on average 5 children every day to child abuse and neglect. Now, I don't know about you, but when I heard this, I was completely shocked. Not only are those huge numbers, but I didn't even realize how many people it was affecting. And there are probably thousands more children suffering in silence. Feeling so passionately about a topic can make it really hard to choose one way to help. But after a lot of research, I was finally ready to create a solution. Reflecting on this knowledge, I was able to think of a way to create something to help. I was going to create a safety quiz for teachers and friends of a child they suspected were experiencing physical abuse. I also wanted it to include an AI model that could tell the difference between abusive and non-abusive injuries. When creating both of these, I realized I needed a good place to put them, a website, somewhere that was safe and secure that all ages could use, easy and accessible. Wix was an amazing tool I used to design this website, so I could have it exactly the way I wanted it. Here's a screenshot of the homepage. The black button stands out a lot. I designed it especially this way so getting to the quiz was quick and simple. The safety quiz took a bit longer to design because I had to ensure that children and adults could understand the questions. When questions led to different answers, it can get very confusing. Luckily, I had just learned about question mapping, where I was able to properly plan out the questions and everything fell into place. The first thing the quiz does is ask if you're over 18, so that if you're under 18, you can understand the questions more easily. These are some of the examples of the questions asked. Is the home dirty, have broken glass or broken furniture? Is the family quite secretive and lonely? All the answers are yes, no, and I don't know. This is so that the quiz can determine how urgent your problem is and give you an appropriate result for the answers you've submitted. In the end, after you've answered all the questions, you will be given your result. This one says, please seek help, and has a small piece of text here explaining why. The other results say to keep an eye out. This is for people who haven't quite got enough information and have mainly answered, I don't know. The last result you can be given is relax. This is for those who have submitted answers with very little sign of physical abuse. The AI abuse checker was something I knew I wanted to include in this project. It took a lot of time and lots of brain power, but I managed to make it work. The hardest part was downloading pictures of abuse injuries onto the machine. It was very emotionally draining, but I knew the result would be worth it. So, oh, I've gone a slide too far. Go back quickly. So basically how it works is, this is a screenshot, by the way, and it has a small description of the machine and what it does. You can either press the button or the QR code to get to the abuse checker. Now I can go to the next slide. So once you've done that, you can either switch on your webcam or upload a file of the injury. Here, just for an example, I've uploaded a picture of a bruise from the internet. The machine will work better if the bruise is a good distance from the camera, not too close that it's blurry and not too far away that it can't pick it up. In this picture, the abuse checker says it's an abusive bruise. Obviously, it will differ from injury to injury. There are also tabs saying non-abusive bruises, abusive cuts, non-abusive cuts, and no injuries at all. And after all that, it was finally complete. I created a tool that would help children and possibly save lives. I couldn't have been happier with the result and couldn't wait to see the impact. I have learned so much through this process. Lots of new skills and concepts like designing a website and using a teachable machine. I did have trouble embedding the AI abuse checker code onto the website, but through the challenge, I learned more about code, what works with a program and what doesn't work. The great part was that when I didn't understand something, I was able to ask for help, which is something I've struggled with. And a facilitator would advise me on how to solve it so I could later on do it by myself. Reflecting on this process, I am definitely happy and proud of what I've been able to accomplish. These are some incredible things I've had the opportunity to do. I'm also really amazed at how many new skills and I've learned, like, as I've said, how to design a website and researching in the most strategic way possible. All of these life skills, which I'm so happy I've learned so early on. I'm so excited to use them more in the future. And the fact that I've had the opportunity to use my passions to help people through my project is truly amazing. So I want you to close your eyes for a minute, just for a little bit. Imagine a world where child abuse didn't exist. A world where children wouldn't have to worry about coming home to an angry parent or getting hurt and feeling like they have nowhere to go. You can open your eyes again. This world doesn't have to be so far out of reach. Solutions like this can help save children's lives. Thank you all for listening.
That was amazing, Elliana. Thank you so much for sharing. And wow, what a impactful project. And I understand. And thank you for sharing your journey, because I think, as you mentioned, it must have been very emotionally draining to go through that. So well done for pushing through and carrying it through and having that passion to come up with a solution for it. So thank you.
Thank you.